Well, welcome everyone. I'm Pat Lisinski, the CEO of the Columbus Metropolitan Library, and I am delighted to be here with my colleague and very good friend, Frederick. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Frederick Bertley, President CEO of COSI. Happy to be here with you, Pat. It's an exciting time.
We didn't plan this, but look at this. We dressed right. Like we look like we actually planned this.
You know we look like professionals because we are professionals.
There you go. There you go. Well, we're delighted to partner with you, Frederick, and your COSI team to bring both reading and science to our community's young minds through a fun and exciting partnership that our teams have put together. Every time we've ever worked with COSI, it has been positive, and we know this one is not only going to be positive for our organizations, but it's also going to be really helpful to our community because we all know it's a really unprecedented time. We need to keep kids reading. You're going to help kids keep learning. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you have in mind?
Yeah, and Pat, as always, just thanks so much for being a great partner. You talked about that. Our mission at COSI is to engage, inspire, and transform lives and communities by being the best partner. We take that seriously. And what's really cool about this city, Pat, and you know this well, but I want to make sure all the listeners, especially the kiddos, know that Columbus has some of the best national firsts. The Columbus Metropolitan Library has been voted at one point the #1 library system in the nation. COSI has been voted the #1 science museum in the country. And so we're so excited, Pat, to work with you and your fabulous team to, as you said, hit that literacy piece, which is critical. And from COSI's side, along with the literacy and the reading piece, we promise to give you an incredible science experiment every Tuesday when we do these sessions.
Well, it's going to be terrific. There is, this is going to be fun, but there's a real serious side to this. I know that both of us have talked about the fact that during June, July, and August, we have something called the summer slide. And the summer slide is when children who, may come from stressed economic needs have very few options in terms of continuing learning. Studies have shown that they're learning at the same pace during the school year. And then we get to the summer, and kids who do not have those options suddenly find that when they get back in school in September, their reading score has not only not progressed, it's actually dropped, and we have some catch up. And so what has happened now with this pandemic, we've had the equivalent of 2 summer slides pancaked on top of each other. And we all know that online learning is difficult and more challenging. So it's going to be more than just 2. So the point is we've got to redouble and triple our efforts to really try to make an impact on our children and our community. It's never too early to start. We continue to be focused on the Young Mind strategy for our library, and that's really making sure that kids are ready to learn in school, and we're supporting them in school. The story times that we have, and they're going to be part of this program, they may be virtual right now, but they are teaching the successful skills that kids need to have impact in the classroom. And when kids associate books with reading as an enjoyable experience, they're more likely to read for pleasure. So I've got a few more things to say, Frederick, but let me turn it over to you, and you can get into some of the details.
Yeah, and Pat, I'm really glad you talked about the summer slide and how it got pancaked because school shut down earlier than that. And that's why institutions like the library and COSI are critical, because we are these cultural anchors that can work to support what happens in a troubled school system. And so we couldn't be more excited to launch this program, as you said, digitally. You can go to the Columbus Metro Library website and see the times. You can follow them on social media. You can also go to COSI Connects to find out all about this incredible story time we're doing every Tuesday. Check us out. We have incredible guest readers, including an amazing one we'll get to in a moment. But I want to kick it back to you, Pat, for a couple of your announcements, and then I'll close out with some of mine.
Well, thank you, Frederick. The key to unlocking the access to many of the resources we have is a library card. And great news, I mean, most people know this, but not everyone does. The library card is free. You can sign up online at columbuslibrary.org, or now all of our locations are open for limited public access, and we have 13 open for browsing So you can stop in the library, and the staff, they're trained to find the right books for the right age. We've got something called Grab and Go, where it's a little bit of a mystery shop, but if you don't have a lot of time, we'll have materials that we'll send, and we can make it a great experience. The books that are going to be read as part of the story time over the next 6 weeks are all available for checkout at the library. So you can have a connection between the VIPs who are reading our stories and our staff who are reading the stories, and something to take along at home. Also, Frederick, you're mentioning, I guess you're going to talk about the bookmarks and what we're doing with those, but that's something that's special to celebrate the partnership, and either as part of the kits, I believe, or we'll have them on hand in all of our locations. So just stop in and pick them up.
Absolutely, Pat. You know, you guys at the library and COSI, we like to give swag. So not only do you get some great books to read, but the books will come with these COSI bookmarks, which have some great science fun facts on them. And as mentioned, not only that, we have these fantastic kits. We call them the COSI Connects Learning Lunchbox. And Pat, your team has graciously put a fantastic reading list into these boxes, and we'll have some of these great bookmarks in here as well. So make sure you all enjoy them. Pat, I'm so excited to introduce our first story reader in this series. Before I do that, I want to give you some final words here before I introduce our special guest to talk about that partnership.
I'm sorry, you turning it back to me?
Absolutely. Okay. Before I get
I know the surprise guest is going to talk about a really special program that we're all trying to help in seed in this community and really throughout the state. And it really is about supporting reading, supporting learning, supporting STEM, supporting science. All we have to do is look around, and if you pull the headline in any newspaper today, you better be looking at all the issues involving science and climate change that are impacting us all. And so important that kids get that message at an early age.
Absolutely, Pat. And helping us along with that, with our great partnership, is another component that we're so excited to announce today. And that's that we're partnering with the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library and First Lady Fran DeWine. Inside all of our COSI Connects Learning Lunchboxes, again, these amazing kits, you will have a sign-up sheet. So any child, Pat, any child who's 0 to 5 years old can get a free book delivered to their home each month. How cool is that? What an amazing program that is. And so the library and COSI, thrilled to partner with this incredible Storytime program and First Lady Fran DeWine's program all around, the Imagination Library, and ensuring kids have not just one book, but every month they get a book delivered to their home. This is fantastic. And with that, Pat, I couldn't be more excited to kick off our story time with none other than First Lady Fran DeWine, who's going to read As an Oak Tree Grows. Now, got to tell you, I want to thank the governor and First Lady Fran DeWine for incredible leadership to bring this Imagination Library to really support early childhood literacy. She's been a cornerstone of literacy in general, especially in this region. Couldn't thank her enough. And with that, I want to make sure we put these Ohio books from your libraries, Pat, from Fran DeWine's Imagination Library, into the hands of youngsters. And with that, I want to kick off our very first reader. Ladies and gentlemen, First Lady Fran DeWine. Pat, great talking to you as always, and thanks for this partnership opportunity.
Okay, we're going to read this book today. This is As an Oak Tree Grows by G. Brian Carras. On a sunny, late summer day, a young boy planted an acorn in the ground. Later that year, an oak tree sprouted up from the earth into the air and light. Each fall it will shed its leaves, and each spring new ones will grow. So it's about 1775 when this happens. It's 1800 now. The boy no longer lived here. New people came and made their homes around the oak tree. They cleared the hillsides where forests once stood, The wood was used for building and to burn in fireplaces, but the oak tree was left standing. The oak tree had room to spread wide and grew upward and outward. Sometimes snow was very heavy and a branch would break off. It's about 1850 now, and as the oak tree grew, everyone and everything was on the move. Children grew, some stayed to work on the farms and others left to work in factories. Ships came and went. Large engines rumbled along the steel rails. Birds perched in the oak tree to rest from the long migrations. Some stayed and made new homes, others flew on. More people arrived and built new homes and buildings. In about 1875, some years, little rain fell. Hills and fields were dry where trees had once stood and shaded the ground from the sun's rays. The oak tree's roots reached far underground for water as its leaves wilted. Farmers conserved what little they had for thirsty livestock until the rain fell again. It's about 1900 now. Electricity came through wires and they were strung over hills and through valleys. It powered steam lamps and homes. The land twinkled with lights as stars faded in the night sky. The oak tree grew slowly and steadily while all around it life just sped by. It's about 1925 now. People rode in cars to go to work and visit friends and to go shopping or just take a drive. Soon the air was filled with jet contrails and radio waves. It's 1950 now. And sound waves of beeping cars, barking dogs, zooming motorboats, whistling trains, and music. The oak tree is 200 years old. It's 1975. It has shed its leaves and grown new ones every year. Animals, birds, and insects have made homes in its folds and holes and branches. The oak tree, with its strong roots, trunk, and limbs, has survived many storms over its lifetime. Now a fog rolls in and a big storm is on the way. The year is 2000. The storm is powerful and the oak tree is split in two. It does not survive this storm. People come to look where the great oak tree once stood. The tree is cut into pieces to be used for furniture and firewood and mulch. It's very sad to see it all cut up. A new day dawns. Once again, the ground is warm and welcoming as a new oak tree grows. Thanks for reading along with me today. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. It's a great book. Maybe you can check it out at your local library.
I have to thank First Lady Fran DeWine. That was incredible, reading all about the old oak tree as it grows. As she mentioned, you can check that out at your Columbus Metropolitan Library, and be sure to register at the Ohio Imagination Library at ohioimaginationlibrary.org so you can get your book. If you're from 0 to 5, your parent, your guardian, sign that youngster up. They get a free book delivered to their home every month. So again, thank the governor's office overall, but especially the First Lady DeWine for that great read. Now, I want to kick it over. We're at COSI. We like to do science, and you just heard all about the oak trees. So the one experiment I want to talk to you about today has to do with a little bit about how plants or trees actually grow. So behind me, you can see some examples right here. You have a catalpa tree, you have a pine tree, and a locust tree. You can see the leaves, but then you see these pods. These are the seeds, and you notice there's different kinds of seeds and different shapes depending on the tree. Well, what you heard from First Lady DeWine is this is an oak tree leaf, and these are the seeds of the oak. This is what falls from the ground from the tree, and as she concluded at the end of her book, you get a new tree growing. Well, they actually grow from these, what they call nuts, right? So you're looking at the oak tree nuts. Well, different trees, as you can see, have different shapes of nuts, and you might wonder why. There's different biological reasons for that, and one of the ones I want to talk about to you today is about my favorite tree, It's called the maple tree. Here's examples of the leaves, and here's examples of the little seeds that come from them. And these are, we call them as kids propeller seeds. If you ever played with the maple tree and you've seen them, you throw them in the air and they spin down nicely. Well, that actually is a biological evolution to protect the seed and allow it to have a soft landing on the ground. Now, why is a maple tree my favorite tree? Well, I was born in Canada, and if you've ever seen the Canadian flag, the middle symbol is the Canadian maple leaf. All right, now what does this have to do with science? Well, we're going to do a fun little demonstration to show you how you can make propellers inside your house with a very simple set of materials. I'm going to start with some paper. You can either use construction paper, or you can even use just regular white paper, any old paper. And you can go to COSIconnects.org and you can see details of how to do this experiment. We are going to make a propeller that actually levitates lightly to the ground. So you can take a piece of paper here, cut it roughly 2 inches by roughly 4 inches. And the way you do that, you take some handy safety scissors, cut along here, make a little split like that. This is going to be your propeller. Then you make another cut over here in the bottom. Again, go to COSIconnects.org. You can see exactly how to make this. There's a nice video there demonstrating this. And then you fold in the piece like that, so it looks like this. Then you fold the other piece like that, so it looks like this. And then you can put a weight, like a piece of paper clip, anything to weight it down. And then you bend the propellers like this. And this little thing will give you hours and hours of fun, trust me. And I'm going to show you real quick. I have to stand up to show you. I'm going to take two. Now you got to pay attention and look really close because it's going to go by fast. This is how the maple leaf seed, again, this little guy down here, this is how these fall to the ground and then enter the soil so they can plant and become new maple trees. You guys ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Did you see that? I'm going to do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Did you see that? So what I want you to do, go to COSIconnects.org, check this out, look at how to make this, and then do an experiment where you make the propellers little like this. See what that does for how they drop. You can make them big, etc., and play around and see how fast or slow they go to the ground. That concludes another COSI Connects cool demonstration all about how science connects to nature and how you at COSI Connects are connected to a universe of science. I'm so excited. Again, I want to thank Pat Lazinski, the president and CEO of the Columbus Metropolitan Library System, as well as his entire staff. I want to, of course, thank my entire staff here at COSI. We are so thrilled to launch this incredible program. We look to see you next Tuesday. Tune in, go to COSI.org or to Columbus Metropolitan Library to find the hours out. Check us out every Tuesday for the next 6 weeks. There's going to be a famous person reading another great story like First Lady Fran DeWine did today. Thanks so much.